Hello, everyone. Oh man, I don't get an intro, Elijah. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for staying so long. I know it's been a long day. Hopefully, it's been a good day with a lot of super intelligent investors. I'm David Tran, and I'm gonna wrap it up. And today, I'm pretty much gonna wrap it up with a few things that I've learned in my experience with real estate. Um, Today, you've heard from a lot of speakers, and from every speaker that you learn from, you're going to get all types of information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something that I didn't realize that I should have known until after 15 years later. And it's going to seem obvious, but it sure wasn't obvious when I was going through the whole real estate journey. So I'm going to pull up some slides. I'm going to go over each one, and I might even look at notes. But here, let me pull it up. Today, I'm going to go over some basics. All right. What I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to start off with the different roles of real estate that you can get into when you're first starting. These are things that I wish I knew when I first started. Like these are like lender, buy and hold, fix and flip, realtor, wholesaler. These are different roles. I consider real estate a game, right? And it's really important to know the game that you're playing in, and then also know the roles and how it fits your situation in life so you can have fun in it. So it's labeled lender, buy and hold, fix and flip, realtor, and wholesaler. And this is kind of like a ladder. This is how I look at it. When I first started real estate, I just jumped right in. I was young. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't even know what the word real estate meant. All I knew was it made money. That's pretty much it, right? And when I first started, I can tell you that the first thing I did was fix and hold. Then I started managing properties. And then I became a realtor. And then I became a rental agent, which is also a task of a realtor. And then I became a wholesaler and also became a lender. So as you can see, there was no pattern of growth. I was all over the place, and I didn't even know. Like it sounds crazy, but back then when I started in 05, there wasn't there was Dig. There was a real estate club in Dig, but there wasn't all these online videos that you can learn from home. You had to show up, you had to network, you had to meet with people, you had to read books, join seminars, and I'm pretty much an introvert, pretty much to myself. I like the party, don't get me wrong, but I always felt very uncomfortable when it came to socializing with people and making friends. It was always something that was very difficult for me. So I had to learn everything on my own. And today I just want to just share everything that I've learned with people so you don't, so you can save time in a nutshell. Because when I first started off, I'll be honest, money was the most important thing to me. I didn't come from money. And I'll always remember where I come from. And as I grow in the real estate industry and in life, I recognize that time is the most important thing to me. And, when you don't have money, you're going to value money more than time, because in the beginning, you don't have money. You're going to, all you have is time. So, you have to use that time wisely. But after I started at 05, 15 years. Now I have a family, I have children. I value time. I value my health more. Things that I didn't know that mattered, like exercise and physical care and wellness, now is a priority for me. It sucks growing up, that's the truth. And for everyone that works hard for their money, that got into real estate, I just don't want anyone to lose money. I see a lot of people losing money, and I'm trying to do my best to share with people, how to look at it before you even start real estate today. So I'm going to go at it. Basically, wholesaler. What is a wholesaler? Someone that doesn't have money, that wants to make money. So if you don't have money in your bank account, or you don't have financial stability, I would totally recommend that you follow this path I'm giving. and you would start off as a wholesaler or a realtor. A lot of times I recommend starting off at a wholesaler because as a wholesaler, you don't have to take an exam. You can get your feet wet, like Sean. He didn't have his real estate license in the beginning. He just wanted to wholesale. He wasn't fond of taking exams. So I know all about wholesaling because I wasn't good at school. And, to help people, I had to start teaching my old self pretty much that didn't like school. I want to skip the school. I want to just jump straight into it and just start doing. Wholesaling is a good start because that's where you make money. That's where you learn mistakes, and it doesn't cost you any money. It just costs you time. And as you evolve as a wholesaler, the next thing you will get into is becoming a realtor. This is where you get access to certain tools to further grow your education in real estate, learn how to do comps, learn how to do your own paperwork, learn how to market it. Well, you really should know how to market from wholesaling. But the cool part about being a realtor is, as a wholesaler, if it doesn't fit your criteria or your buyer's criteria, what happens is that you have to throw away that lead that you worked hard on. What you can do as a realtor is, once you build that relationship, you can help them by listing the property. So that's another service. And you can make more money doing the same things, right? So as a realtor is another good place to build your foundation and meet people, right? You'll meet investors, you'll meet lenders. So the next step would be, once you have some money, you would like to do fix and flips. This is where you get in. You have to, hopefully, contractors, because they're a very important part of your team at that point, is to fix and flip, right? And the beauty of fix and flip as wholesaler difference is not always true, but it theoretically should be true, is when you do fix and flips, you'll be making larger lump sums if you do it right, of course. And, although there's a lot of wholesalers that can make $20,000, $30,000 a deal, a lot of people do not. When I first started wholesaling, I'd be happy starting off just making $3,000. Sometimes I even made $500. It was a mentality where I knew that it was important to build relationships and learn from people. So I did whatever it took to learn and grow. And as a fix and flip, once again, once you start doing fix and flip, the lump sums you make will be bigger. And there's different types of fix and flips, like residential, multifamily, add-ons, like value adds, and commercial. So in every field, as we're growing up, there's different sectors of the field. There's branches to each one. And then once you go to buy and hold, this is where you should have money. See, as I told you before, I started buying and holding first. And I was all about building cash flow and equity. And it was a long game. So for someone that's young, that had the expectation of making money now, well, that really woke me up. I was like, $500-$600 a month. I started buying multifamily mixed use properties. So I was, making $500-$600 a unit, and I'm like, when am I going to make that big money? Because in my mind, I was imagining, $10,000 or something. And I realized how much time it took to rehab a 3-story building, 3-family. It took a year. It took a year pretty much to fix it up and rent it, and just to make like $1,500. See, when I didn't have money, $1,500 is simply not enough. And if I needed to make $3,000, I needed to take another year. So basically, and I had to partner up too with a contractor, which was my uncle. So I had to divide that income by half. So just imagine how much it would have took for me to make enough money to make a good living. And me coming from a background as an engineer, I wanted to make $50,000. That was my dream. So I was impatient. I wanted to make it now, not tomorrow, not 3 years, 5 years from now. Of course, as an investor, if I had money, man, the type of return I was making was sick. It was like, for investors to know what type of money I used to make in cash flow, it just blows their mind. But For someone that didn't have money, I wish I knew what I knew today, and I wish I just wholesale starting off. So buy and hold is for someone I recommend with money, because there's going to be times where things need to be fixed. If you don't got the money, you'll always be penny pinching. And if you don't have people skills that could be developed from wholesaler to realtor to fix and flip, if you have those people skills, you also should have the ability to deal and work with tenants. When you work with tenants and you treat them well, they treat you well. And like my friend Nate said, they're my bosses. See, I had the wrong mindset going in. I'm thinking, oh, I own real estate. I'm their boss. I'm their landlord. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a mutual thing. I look at it more like, hey, this is the friend that helped me pay my mortgage. I'm the friend that's going to take care of their maintenance and make sure that they have a good place that they can call home. The next thing rising up in the game would be, once you got money and you don't even want to own real estate, you don't want the headaches of tenants, you become a lender. And as a lender, what you got to do is you need to learn about people. You need to learn how to screen people, their backgrounds, their past work, because now you live in the dream, right? Rich dad, poor dad, have your money work for you. So a lender would be someone that would be living that dream. They have the money, they worked for it, however, and now they're investing their money and allowing someone else to work and make a return for them while they do nothing. And that's if you do it right. If you don't do it right, you're going to lose your money, right? So that's a start. That's just a framework of, each role. There's obviously building businesses after that. I'm not going to get there yet. But yeah, after you develop these foundational skills, building a business gets easier, because you now know all the components, the right team to build, you have the lawyers, you got the CPAs. There's so much to learn in this game of real estate. And there's so many different facets, from foreclosures to for sale by owners. There's probates. There's so many different ways to find deals, make money. And one thing I've learned that is it can get overcomplicated. It can get too fascinating. And you can just get caught up pretty much in learning, and not being able to do. So one thing, my intention today would be to explain these different roles and give you an overview of the journey that you're about to get into. And then from there, you can make a good decision and then stick to it. Because if you don't make that decision and have clarity before you start, what's going to happen is you're going to do what I did. You're going to come in, oh, I want to buy and hold. I want to be a boss, Then you see someone do fix and flips. You're like, oh man, I need that money. Let me jump in fix and flip. Then you're like, oh man, wholesaling, that looks easy. Let me jump into wholesaling. And then you're like, oh, your friend need money. You know what? I made some money. Let me lend. You're so all over the place. And you just become like a jack of all trades. That's me. I'm guilty. I know a little bit of everything, and I've done everything. Not everything, but a lot of things. And now I look back, I'm like, dude, I look at some people, they never learn anything. They did one thing, just one thing, and it got so big. It's for me, it's mind blowing, because my mind races and trying to do so many things at once, and I'm always chasing. At the end, I'm thinking back now, I said, man, if I knew this, ahead of time, like I wouldn't do this. And that's why I'm sharing this, right? So let me share the next slide. So this is the golden circle. Like, I'm pretty sure you've seen it before from Simon Sinek. I'm going to use it in a little different way. Talks about why, how, and what. So before I talk about this, I want to share something that everyone goes through. Why are all of us here learning? Well, because we have a fear. We want to grow, we want to make money, but we have a fear, right? That's why it's really important to get the education, but it's also important to get the practice. So what's the biggest fear? So one of the things I've learned that is very important is that you have to recognize what your biggest fears is, and then you have to face it. What is my biggest fear? I'm pretty sure it'll be your biggest fear. What is that? Lose money. I'm afraid to lose money. I'm also afraid of the unknown. I'm scared of the unknown. And then as I grow, I'm afraid of missing out. That's why I'm chasing, you know? And, you know, once you do more and more, you're going to realize something, that it's kind of like boxing, right? When you're boxing, you're like, oh man, do you ever hear people say, let me learn how not to get punched, right? Let's not get punched. But if you're going to join a game of boxing, you got to realize and accept the fact that you're going to get punched. You're going to get punched. It's going to happen. So, you know, as sad as it sounds, even after you learn all this great education, you're going to get jabbed. But through education, you know, hopefully, if you learn thoroughly, you won't get knocked out. You know, knocked out would mean that you lose all your money. And that's why I'm sharing with you what I've learned, because if you had a little bit of money and you start buying a property, you know, one fall through, you just lost all your money your entire life. Whereas if you worked your way up, you would have savings, it would be more steady, and it would be a better type of growth, right? So accept the fear of losing money and all the other fears that you may be facing. It's normal. I don't know if many people shared this, but we all lost money. This is the game. If we didn't lose money, we lost a lot of time. A lot of time. And every time you embark into a new journey through real estate or relationship or anything in life, you know that it's going to change your life. Whatever journey you step into, you're going to grow. And what happens when you grow? Sad thing is, you know, for those that are not going to realize, when you grow, some of your friends will not grow with you because they're comfortable where they are. And, you know, it's going to be very uncomfortable, because I'm pretty sure while you're learning something brand new, you want to include your friends. You're like, oh, come on me, come. I got this thing that's going to make big money. And, you know, everyone's going to be like, whoa, chill, skeptical, you know? And, you know, they're like, you know, what they're saying is you do it first. So you'll do it first, you know, understand that you're going to feel alone. And these real estate meetups are crucial, because you meet like-minded people that are taking the same risks as you, knowing that they could lose. And when you lose together sometimes, you know, and you actually share it, it makes it a lot easier, because you realize that, oh, wow, this is what it is. And I just got to get used to it, and I got to overcome it, whether I like it or not. You know what I mean? So, you know, I brought up this golden circle because I want to share with everyone what it takes to overcome those fears, right? So today, a lot of you are listening for certain things that you want to hear, like, how do I find a deal? What's the best places to invest? How do I start? Who should my lawyers be? And, you know, whatever you're searching for. And always understand and accept that there's more to that than what you're looking for. But whatever you're looking for, get started, right? Get started. And I'm just sharing with you so you can be prepared. Being prepared mentally is really important, and knowing what to expect. That when it hits you, you're like, oh, okay, I got jabbed. So that's how it feels. Wow. Yeah, respect for whoever been boxing for so long, you know? Same thing, when you lose money, you're like, wow, I just lost $1,000. And then you'll hear stories like when they grow up, you know, because as you grow up, the numbers gets bigger. It's proportional, right? You might hear someone lose 30,000, but when they make 60,000 or something like that. It's all proportional. You know what I mean? Whereas someone that's wholesaling, it's like, oh man, I lost $1,000 in marketing or time, right? Don't compare numbers, right? Just focus on doing what you do. And the way to get over the fears, again, is once you learn the what, right? What you want to learn, what you want to do, like you want to be a lender, you want to be a wholesaler, You should figure out what books to read. Who do you, like coaching, seek mentors that have been through it that can guide you. There's different teachers for different things, right? Then you look into how you want to do it. Like, how do you want to do it? Because for me, I obviously didn't follow the books. I did whatever I felt like. I took it day by day. I'm an action-oriented type of individual, and I just kept going. And look, I still end up here. So you know what? It works. You could be a big failure like me, and it still works. You just got to be like resilient. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep believing the entire way. And I can share with you that along the way, there are times where you are going to have self-doubts. And there's going to be times where you lose belief. There's times that you just feel like you're all alone and no one can help you. But remember that there is this community. And, it's really important that you meet like-minded people, and it'll get you through, right? And the last part you should know is your why. Before you even start, know what you want, right? Like the what is like what result you want to see. Like, how much money you want to make. But the why is the real reason. It's the core reason that's going to drive you through your fears, right? So let's say if you have children, it's like, I got to do this no matter what for my children. And I want to set and be a good role model, a good example. I'm paving the road for them. That's going to get you through the days where you're like, oh, I just want to give up. I just want to give up. I don't even want to wake up, right? I don't even want to wake up. Well, it's like going to the gym. If you have a big enough why or a big enough reason to want to do something, it'll pull you through. You'll wake up and say, yo, look, tired or not, I'm doing this. Let's go. And you'll get up, right? See, that why is super important. A lot of people never really sit there and figure out their why. Their why, just like mine, was make money. Make how much? I don't know. I just want to make money. Make a lot of it. That's not a clear why. You have to really sit down and figure out what's your real why. And this is how you test it. During a time when it gets tough and you don't get up, right there and then you know that your why isn't big enough. And that's when you got to face reality. If it's not big enough, you're not going to make it through. And when you don't make it through, you're going to start blaming. You're going to blame the training system. You're going to blame your coaches. But you know what? We always fail to blame ourselves and start to see that we need to take personal responsibility. And that has a lot to do with maturity, mental maturity, emotional maturity, just maturity, right? And when you grow up, it's like, when you're a kid, you don't have to do nothing. But when you grow up at a certain point, you just got to own up to it and face it and break through it. So now that you know, like, why it's so important to know your why, like, sit there and really write down all the things that matter to you. And then kind of figure out, like, pick out one word or two words that encapsulates all those things. So it's a quick focus. You don't want to read a list. You want to wake up like, for my son, And then afterwards, right, put some photos on your phone. Every time you get lazy, you pull up those photos to remember. Stick something on your door. So I'm doing this for my son, and this is how I imagine it. And really stay focused. Stay focused on what you envision, really want it, okay? So now let's talk about the whys, all right? As you can see, the whys is like these trees, all right? Just something that I didn't know back then. And I always thought big. I always loved challenges. I just didn't know what that realistically looked like. You ever want something, got it, and didn't know what it entailed? You got in a relationship or something, and didn't know that you have to spend time with them. Sounds crazy, but it's kind of like you didn't think about these things, right? So these two trees represent whys, okay? You got your little Y, which is the little tree, and a big Y, which is a big tree. This little tree right here, this little Y, It's like, oh, I'm going to make $10,000. Well, see, once you have that why, you're like that axe, and every time you just go hack at it, right? So the bigger the tree, you know that you got to hack more times. It's going to take longer, right? So if you didn't know that, you would become disappointed, because if you had a small why to make $10,000, what happens is, let's say you made $10,000. You're like, great. It took me, let's say, 2 months. And then let's say someone else that has a big why and they said $10 million. How would a person feel if they didn't make $10 million in 2 months? How long do you think they envisioned that it would take? I can tell you that I'm one of those guys that was trying to make $10 million in a few years when I knew nothing. Sounds crazy, right? I started right after college. I didn't have anything, like no real life experience. I thought I was going to make $10 million in 2 years. Yep. And then I started getting disappointed. And when you have big dreams, it's very different from little dreams. Each one has its own problems. For me, I had a big dream problem. When I didn't reach my goal, I burnt out. I gave up. I started saying, man, this doesn't work, man. It's not what I thought it was. It's never what you thought it was, because you didn't know what it was in the first place, right? And the little problem, I run into a lot of times, people have like these like smaller dreams, smaller whys, right? Where it's like, make 10,000. They make $10,000 within 2 months, and do you know what they do afterwards? Just take a guess. They do nothing, because they already reached their goals. They didn't realize that after they reached that goal, and remember that when you reach your goal, set another goal. I'll be honest, most of the time, it's really hard to reach your goal, because when you get near that goal, you're going to refrain from reaching that goal because you don't know what's next. That fear again, the fear of the unknown. So I would recommend that around 70% of the way, 80% of the way, for you to create another goal. Revise that goal. Make it a bigger goal. If you're a one step at a person type of guy, then always remember to revise that goal. Right? If you're a big dreamer and you're like, yeah, don't worry, I need to dream big and it's going to motivate me because that's how I think, because I think fast and stuff. Yeah, all right. Well, just remember that when you don't reach that goal in the unrealistic time that you set, remember that it's okay, because you still moved forward. You're still farther along, right, than when you first started. So this is pretty much like, I find it's simple things. But, sometimes the most simplest things is the hardest things to understand when you're in it, because everything's so blurry. You're just like moving, learning one thing after another. Like it's never ending. It's like information after information. It's just overwhelming. And, there's so much information out there. I'm just trying to, create like a step-by-step, for myself type of instruction, because I realized that when I went all over the place, I ended up nowhere. And I've seen a lot of people do that. They're chasing dreams. Yeah, I mean, you buy one house and then you start wholesaling. But overall, when you want stability and you want consistency, it's just not there. And that is something that took me 15 years to learn. I got good at everything. I started teaching, started coaching, and then I started to see me. I started to see the person that always got bored. So yeah, I didn't make the $10 million in 2 years. And you know what? I stopped buying and holding properties after 1 year, because the business relationship went bad. Things go bad too. And it was my own family member. It was my own uncle. Things go bad. But you know what? Because I didn't have my why, I didn't continue down that path. I gave up real estate for a couple of years. And then I came back and started all over from nothing. It's a lot of ups and downs in life. So if you figure out and do all your homework now, if you do it now, you have this perfect roadmap, right, to your success, to clarity. And when you got clarity, you wake up. You just know what you want to do. You're just ready to produce, to get an outcome. You'll be able to track yourself, track your own progress. You get to see yourself grow. So yeah, I mean, this is what I have to share today. It's very simple, but I hope it gives a clear overview of the journey for all investors, wholesalers, whatever role. Is that there's always mastering one thing, moving on to another. All these things are available. All these options are available to you. But always remember, when there's too many options at one time, it can get overwhelming. And hopefully, this simplification helped you out. Right. So I think I don't know what time I end, but I think I'm supposed to end here. Um, Let me read some comments or questions. Uh, Spent it, maintain, change it. Did I make my $10 million goal? No. I made $1 million my first year at real estate. And then the whole family working together partnership, I learned real fast how difficult it is to work with partnerships. And I've learned also that you should develop yourself first, before you join all types of partnerships, or you need to work with someone that understands partnership better than you do. Okay. Because that way, like, once you know what to expect, it's no hard feelings, right? A lot of times when you do real estate, you kind of commingle business with personal. Like, you want to be, you want to become friends with someone, but you also got to understand that the business component is that you have a role and they have a role, and you have to know about these boundaries. And before you can even maintain and do things yourself, you're not going to realize what it takes to work in a partnership and do things as a team. So, start working and investing in yourself first, and keep growing. Grow to the point that you have so much abundance that's overflowing, meaning you're making money or so much opportunities before you start working with others. Because when you work with others, it's a whole new experience. All right. Let me read another question. What are the causes you have seen people lose their focus? How do you, as a coach, get them back in the zone? Well, what are the causes? Life. Although we want to live in an ideal world where everything is perfect, it's not perfect. It's like saying this, right? Should you get for guys, should you get in a relationship before you have money? Common sense. No. You should have money so you can go on dates. Reality check. We're not thinking. We just want a girlfriend, you know what I mean? Or we want a wife. We didn't think it through, right? It's like, should you have savings and everything before you have a child? I would like to, but that's not how it happened. The truth is the truth, right? It's like, oh man, I wish I planned it out. No, this is reality. Learn how to face it, learn how to deal with it. And how do I, as a coach, get them back in the zone? Well, I help them get clarity. So this is what I'm sharing. These are the tools I share with my students, but I would sit there and help them and guide them through it so they can get clarity. I will ask them a lot of questions, help them dig deep. A lot of times, we do things that everyone else does. It's very surface. Like, oh, you got it, I want it too. But you never really understand why they do what they do. It may not match what you're looking to do. Someone that wants a return that's 8%, and someone else that doesn't have any money, that person doesn't have any money is like 8%. No, I don't need no 8%. I need money. I need money now. See, depending on where you are in life, you're going to want different things. And a lot of times we're quick to ask our friends or ask someone else, like, hey, would you do this? Like, would you, and it's really like we're uncertain. And what I do is I help them figure out what they want, and then help them remember what they wanted, what they said. It's not about me. It's not about what I want to do. It's about them, right? It's about you. What do you want? And I can tell you, if I ask any one of you guys, what do you really want? Most will give me surface answers. Like, I want to buy a car. But if I ask you, hey, what do you, what legacy do you want to leave behind in your life? Everyone's just going to stay quiet. Book is $5 outing. All right. Well, everyone, that's pretty much it. I answered everyone's questions. Is there any other questions before I head out? If not, then I wish everyone a blessed day. And all right, then take care. It was a pleasure